Hey everybody, I wanted to talk about Hazbin Hotel on my channel. I've absolutely fallen in love with this show and the universe, and I want to have a conversation around it. Well, what good is a YouTube channel if I can't use it for what I want? However, I don't want to just talk about any topic. I want it to be something unique. I want it to be more than me gushing about my love for the show. I want it to be more than me just telling you that Lucifer is my favorite character. I want it to be more than that. I want it to add to the conversation. And I don't want to be like a generic tier list. I don't want to be my favorite characters, my favorite songs. I want to add to the conversation. I want to put some thought into this. And so when I was sitting here thinking about like what I wanted to add to it, it clicked. This clip right here sticks out to me, and I'll explain why.
Yeah, sure got me here, didn't it? Right, Sarah?
He was the first human soul in heaven.
That right there is interesting to me. Yes, Adam is the first man, but there's an argument for another soul who should have been there first. Abel, his son. You know, from the story of Cain and Abel, man's first murder where Cain killed his brother Abel. So the question today is this. Within the rules set by Hazbin Hotel and Boss, where is Abel? Is he in heaven? And does that make Cain the first soul in hell? I have a theory on the destination of Abel, and today we're going to go through that and talk about why this is important, what are the implications for season 2 of Hazbin Hotel, and what could it mean for the future of the entire universe. Come with me as I channel my inner Matt Pat, and we'll just show you this film theory I got for you. So in order for this journey to begin, we need to set some foundation. Hazbin Hotel is a popular series that originated here on YouTube. Has made the huge move over to Amazon Prime. Congratulations. Hazbin Hotel shares a universe with the sister show here on YouTube, Boss. Both of these shows draw inspiration from Judeo-Christian mythology, but with some creative liberties. The second important thing to know is who Cain and Abel are within the Judeo-Christian mythology. Cain and Abel, brothers with different jobs, offered gifts to God. Abel's offer was chosen, making Cain jealous. Fueled by envy and rage, Cain killed his brother, becoming the first murderer and earning a life of wandering as a punishment. Their story comes from the book of Genesis of the Old Testament of the Bible. Now, the final piece of this foundation for the theory to move on is the concept of the 7 deadly sins. These sins represent powerful inner urges that, when uncontrolled, can lead to harmful behavior and self-destruction. They target human desires like pride, greed, and pleasure, but twist them into harmful obsessions. Each sin fuels the others, creating a domino effect that can trap someone into a cycle of negativity. That is very important for our show. Now, with these 3 pillars established, we can move on to the theory. Within the Hazbin Hotel universe, and the 7 deadly sins are not just abstract concepts, but physical beings within the world. For example, let's take a look at the King of Hell, Lucifer Morningstar. Now, VisiPop, the creator of this universe, has confirmed the connection between characters and certain vices, without specifically naming them as sins. With Lucifer, he is first to fall. He is the first inhabitant of hell. Within the universe, it actually is both Lilith and Lucifer who first fall, when they were casted out at the same time, although I do believe that the sin of pride falls to Lucifer. For more evidence of Lucifer being pride, look at the title he has, King of Hell. People treat him as royalty within this universe. Also, for more evidence, just look at where he lives. Lucifer resides in the ring of hell known as pride. To hammer this point home, pride is the first sin among the 7 deadly sins. The first stone casted. We in America even have an expression for it, pride cometh before the fall. So, if Lucifer is the embodiment of pride, who are the others? What are they, who are they, and what do they mean within the show? Well, we actually know many of them. I'm going to run through them rather quickly as they're not too important to this theory, but it eliminates them as potentials for Cain and Abel. We have greed, known as Mammon, from Boss, the gluttony sin of Beelzebub, from Boss, and pride is obviously Lucifer Morningstar, from Hazbin Hotel. So we have all 3 of these already filled. That just leaves the other ones. Well, envy, wrath, sloth, and lust are not found within the universe, at least not yet. Well, I have a hunch we're going to meet 2 of them next season, and I propose to you that Adam's first 2 children will be 2 of them, and I propose that Cain and Abel are those 2 sins. Their father, Adam, has been defeated. They might take offense to that. Maybe they decide they need to take action. So if Cain and Abel are 2 of the sins, how and what does it mean going forward? To start, we need to take a look back on the clip I showed at the start of this episode.
Yeah, sure got me here, didn't it? Right, Sarah?
He was the first human soul in heaven.
How is Adam the first man to make it into heaven? I will admit it's never stated clearly that Adam was alive during the murder of Cain and Abel, but it is heavily implied when you follow the burial of Adam. So, if Adam died later in his life, after this event, that means Abel never made it to heaven. If Abel doesn't go to heaven, what other option is there other than hell? So why did Abel go to hell? Truthfully, this is a hard question to answer. Not a lot is known of Abel. However, we know enough to make assumptions. Abel was a shepherd. He was going to make a sacrifice to God. Well, he did make a sacrifice to God. He sacrificed his firstborn sheep to God, gaining God's favor over Cain. Their story focuses heavily on Cain's anger and jealousy, leaving Abel's emotions relatively unexplored. The lack of detail could interpret it in multiple ways, including the possibility that Abel harbored hidden feelings of envy towards his brother. Nobody likes to victim shame. Cain only had to grow fruit. That was what he gave up in his sacrifice. Cain only had to give up the fruit he grew, one of many from a single plant. Something that arguably just sat there and grew on its own. Cain didn't have to go out with the flock. Cain didn't have to raise his animals from youth to be sacrificed to God. Yeah, Abel gained God's blessing, but was it worth it? Now his brother seems mad at him. What did Abel get out of this? An angry brother? A year of his life wasted away for a blessing from a God that he may have trusted, he may have believed in, but does it justify the loss he felt? It isn't fair to Abel. This isn't fair. Even though the story doesn't explicitly mention it, it's natural for siblings to experience some level of competition and rivalry. Abel was the younger brother. Might he have felt pressure to prove himself to achieve God's favor, leading for an envy towards Cain, the elder brother who was the firstborn? Do you think he had something to prove? So I propose to you this. I propose that Abel is the sin of envy. He died envious of his brother. He let the firstborn sheep to die. For what? To get murdered by his brother? Abel didn't even get to live a full life. And worst of all, Cain got to go on living. Yeah, he lived in exile, but at least he got to live his life. Abel died young in a meaningless death. Now, Cain is the easier sin to justify. Cain's envy of Abel, favor from God, ignited a burning wrath within him. Consumed by anger, he lured his brother into a secluded area in the forest, letting his rage overflow into violence, culminating in the first recorded murder of the Bible. This tragic act highlights the destructive power of uncontrolled wrath and its devastating consequences. So why is Cain wrath and not envy? Well, remember, I said Abel died first. Cain was an exile. Yes, he lived a full life, so maybe he felt not so much envious, but that wrath that consumed him. It purposely keeps using the word consumed, and it overflowed of rage. So I think that Abel will be your sin of envy, and Cain is the sin of wrath. So what does it all mean? Honestly, it's all conjecture. It's an ongoing show where the stakes of generally have to get higher and higher. At the end of season 1, we have hell on a high note. So they have proven that they can fight. They have fought and they have won. Worst of all, they killed a high-ranking official of heaven, an Adam. I don't see this action going unpunished from heaven. However, I think you have to raise the stakes to create a bigger enemy, not just from heaven. Well, maybe not bigger, but maybe we should think of it as more than one enemy. Lucifer is now involved in Charlie's project. They are going to be a power duo, if you will. And what are you going to do if Lucifer is constantly there? Well, you just got to keep him busy. He is the king of hell. He has a whole kingdom to run. Whether or not he's active in it doesn't really matter. It's his kingdom. So what do? You keep him busy with hell's affairs. So I see two different directions to do that. One I think is more likely than the other. One way I see you doing this is with Lilith. Lilith was introduced at the end of season 1. We know little of her truthfully, but having Lilith wanting to keep her place in heaven, you get her involved. Maybe directly, maybe indirectly, which I think is more likely. You have her want to keep her anonymity of her place in heaven, but she needs to use her resources to poke the bear, if you will. Lilith could rattle the cage of Cain and Abel, tell them about their poor father, the saint, the angel, first of man, in cold blood, just taken out needlessly during Charlie's uprising. Cain and Abel could come together in an act of selflessness once you avenge their father. They may have not been on good terms, but that was their dad. So, you have them act in their father's memory against Lucifer. The second option I see is shown with the form of Sir Pensions. At the end of season 1, he's killed in the Battle of Hell. Unknown to most characters, though, that was not the end of his soul. He was shown appearing again at the end of the season as an angel in front of the seraphim.
Where am I? Oh, hello.
Also, earlier we discovered that the seraphim really don't know the rules of the arrangement of the souls. They don't understand why they show up.
Well, then why isn't he here then? Hmm?
Yeah, why isn't he here?
Wait, none of you know what gets someone into heaven?
This questioning stops now. We know when a soul arrives. We know when they pass divine judgment. It is our job to ensure these souls are safe.
Now, my final argument admittedly is a large leap. I propose the next season of Hazbin Hotel will have Adam appearing in hell. Adam finds his children of Cain and Abel and seeks revenge against the man who wronged him, Lucifer Morningstar. Now, whether or not I agree with any of these theories, I don't really know. I'll be honest, it'd be a really cool idea, but that's kind of the whole fun about this, is I wanted to add a topic to the conversation that hasn't been seen on YouTube like I've looked for, and I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it, so I wanted to talk about this. The ability to have, the fact that Adam has children that aren't ever mentioned, other than the fact that, you know, all dicks ascend from him. So, yeah. I just want to see what happens from here on, and I'm just excited about the show. And if you want me to do more theory crafting, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this, and if you guys enjoyed watching, hit that like button. I'll see you next time.